I hit record. We're live on the audio. Let me get some bump music. Oh, wait.
I gotta put my headphones on.
We're live. Let me get some bumper.
We'll try to figure this out here. I have 64 feet.
That's what I'm talking about, folks.
Alright.
I'm just going to do clapper one more time.
Shit.
Just because it's going to really help the sync. Bam. I'll be able to see that on the video.
Oh, yeah, the
Get that
sound
back
clip.
up. Yeah. Fourth floor of the Nakatomi Towers.
I'm gonna open this cold drink right here.
Oh my God. Turn that down.
That's so good.
Man.
Every time. These full throttle, True Blue.
Yep. Tuesday, what is it, April 12th?
Yes, sir.
Got all kinds of baseball to report on. I'm here with the one and only
Dutch Chattahoochee.
Undercover Officer Dutch Chattahoochee.
With my Bison's jersey, Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Yeah, we're going to take down some crime. And the bump music...
But see, I don't look too suspicious because they're like, oh, he's just a baseball fan. They don't think I'm an undercover cop.
No.
With a set of skills with a black belt underneath my pants.
Let's fade that right back down. I got to remember to turn it off.
I said pants kind of weird. I said pants. My pants.
I like it. We could do... I can't really do accents, but we could try.
I have some. They're not very good, but I have them.
It's all good, but all kinds of stuff to talk about. We got our donuts. We... for the few listeners that we do have, the technical battle this morning was OBS. We thought we could maybe stream because Earl's camera worked last time.
Oh, no.
But we didn't. I forgot what our problem was, but we could actually see it. And this time we can't even see it. So it's as usual. So same equipment works differently on a different day. As far as I can tell, there's no difference.
We're recording this now, and I'm looking up because I have a 64 gigabyte card in there. I'm like, how long does this record? Okay, so 64 gigabyte card has enough space for approximately 1 hour 20 minutes.
So we're gonna blow out the card.
Well, that's at 4K, but if I shoot at a standard 1080p, which I have it on,
low res,
it's 5 hours. So this should pick this all up.
Yeah, it's like looks, like I was watching Magnum PI back in the 80s. What was that old ass television show shot on? Right, that looked great.
That
wasn't 4K. I'll tell you that.
We went over this in class yesterday. The recording, it was like 29.9.
Oh, right, the NTSC or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, 29.97.
I should know this because I've been working. I stayed up pretty late working on that damn Paradise project.
I'm the worst student.
You got a visitor.
Sorry, Mr. Taylor. I'm the worst student.
He's working with us though.
He's got patience. I don't know where to begin. I got some topics. I'm always looking.
Here's where we'll begin with tonight. Missions, Rough Riders. Your boy will be there. Dutch Chattahoochee.
Where'd you get the tickets?
I bought them off the website. The
nice.
website.
Yeah, I gotta check and see when the season tickets kick in.
Now, so I'm going with somebody who's never been, so I hope he's prepared to sit through.
Dragging him to a baseball game, are you?
He said, "Oh, it sounds fun." Okay, well, let you know, 9 innings.
It is fun. Yeah.
And then my other friend too, that's going. We sitting in front of him because I gotta sit on top. I gotta sit on top of the dugout. I'm not going to sit in a row between a bunch of people. Hell no. So I'm sitting in the dugout, and I'm sitting in front of my friend.
Oh,
right?
You got tickets right on the top of the dugout?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that was just like the LMB.
Around the same area, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so we'll be there.
How much were those? I'm just wondering the difference because it was only $30 to be on top of the dugout.
Yeah, that's what it was. 30 a piece. I bought two of them.
That's such a deal, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's a Spurs ticket on the floor? That's got to be hundreds, if not thousands.
Yeah, if you're that close to a basketball game. But then again, this fucking town worships the Spurs, and I don't understand it. Why?
I mean, it's cool. I like going to Spurs game, but I just like the discrepancy between the floor ticket and then like on top of the dugout for an LMB game. But back to your Saltillo Saraperos fandom, Vladimir Balantin, we watched him play, and I was like, I know that dude. He played for the Mariners and some other guys, and I went down the rabbit hole with the Japanese baseball, and no shit, Roger Maris of Japanese baseball broke the single-season home run record, still stands today.
I know they're 60. Pissed.
Because honestly, in Major League Baseball, if people are like, well, I'm not going to count Barry Bonds, right, because that was juice. So the real home run season record is 61, which is amazing. And that barely broke the Babe Ruth record of 60 that stood forever. So Sadaharu O was at 55. Couple dudes like Tuffy Rhodes, and I forget the other guy, Alex, I don't have it in front of me, but two guys tied him. And then Sadaharu O managed teams refused to pitch to those guys, so the record would not get broken.
They want a Japanese guy to have it.
And then Vladimir Balantin shows up, and I believe it was 2013. I'll have to look. I actually have notes for this show, but I don't know where they are. But he gets to 55, and then they start the game again. Like, is this guy Gene actually going to be allowed to do it or pitch to him? And where's my notes? 2013, yeah. And then I think there was so much time left in the season. They're like, dude, you're going to have to throw it over the plate sooner or later.
Because there's going to be situations where you can't.
Yeah, I guess you just couldn't walk him forever. Yeah. So sure enough, cranks out number 56. Record's gone there. Guy Gene has it. So you pitched him the rest of the season, and 60 dingers. That's crazy in any league.
60 is a lot, yeah.
And we just sat there for $30 and watched that dude play. And now he's in the greatest stadium in the world in Saltillo.
Personally, you know my favorite part of sitting that close to the field is? Yes, the game view is awesome, but I'm sure you noticed as well. It's cool to see the little interactions between the players.
Oh, yeah.
Like what they're doing between the innings, during the innings and stuff. That's my favorite part, honestly. But I want to go and beat Rowdy tonight.
That's awesome. And I got my Saltillo jacket
So
on.
people ask, why'd you choose Saltillo? I said, man, when we were going to this game, I was like, I'm a Mariners fan. I like the S. Saltillo's it. So
Saltillo's it. I did some research because I was like, man, I really want to take a road trip to see those stadiums. And here's a couple rabbit holes that I found out.
What's that?
One thing about Saltillo is it's a big auto manufacturing. That's why they got this Mercedes-Benz symbol.
Dude, I was so fucking shocked they were sponsored by Mercedes.
Yeah, there's like all kinds of car makers in Saltillo are manufacturing cars down there. And then I was like, okay, well, cool. If we're going to drive across the border and get a hotel, I looked at Expedia hotels. Like I was looking for midday. So I get like a hall pass from the fam, probably just for like one day. Like don't get in trouble. Go see a Mexican game for one night. Wednesday night, Expedia hotel in Saltillo, according to Expedia, was $0.
One
night? I was like, how is anything $0?
Maybe.
So I was like, well, I'll just book it because I can't lose $0.
Yeah.
So I was like booking a hotel in Saltillo for like the middle of May, and then it was like well, they're going to ask for a deposit so you don't like Rockstar destroy the room.
Right.
For like $89 when you get there, but for some reason there's like travel. I don't know. It turned out to be $127. I was like, well, I'm not going to book it, but it shows up as $0. There's all these hotels and like nice hotels in Saltillo for $0.
It's one of those fucking stupid ass. The prices when you pay for it.
I hate those things. I don't know what that is, but if it's $0, I'll just book all rooms all over Mexico and go check out baseball.
Or maybe if you're there for the game, you get a free room.
So yeah, Vladimir Balantin, Nippon League home run single season record. And then the other thing I discovered about Saltillo besides the $0 rooms in the Mercedes-Benz dealership was, I can't remember, but Julio Franco's the manager for the Arcereros. I was like, I know that guy looks familiar, but Julio Franco was so huge and jacked when he played that when he's just like, I'm not hitting the gym every single day for 4 hours, he looks a little bit different, if you remember Julio Franco from his playing days. But
I remember the name, yeah.
I got that. I got, and I can go in no particular order, but I'm such a windbag girl that I was like, I need to have a dedicated segment for you to educate me. and then I shut up, and that's going to be the Mound segment today. The history of the Mound.
You want to talk about?
Well, no, I'm just saying we're doing roadmap right now.
Okay, yeah.
And then we'll get into a segment because my segment.
Now we both agree that Roki Sasaki is a great segment.
Yeah, Roki Sasaki.
We'll talk about him
because I don't really have
Japanese stud.
Major segment. My segment is like when you come back from Halloween night and you have that bag full of all kinds of little candies. That's basically my segment because I got Roki Sasaki and his 18-year-old catcher Ko Matsukawa, graduated from high school a month ago, catches a flippin' perfect game. We already covered kind of the Vladimir Valentin, but I got some interesting gaijin playing in Japan. One of them was they're just rabbit holes. Like Darnell Coles is one of my Japanese baseball cards, but he played Major League Baseball for a lot of years. And I was looking at him, at Darnell Coles' career, and he was a first-round draft pick in 1980. Well, that's like a pretty interesting draft because first overall in 1980 was Darryl Strawberry. Also in that draft, Billy Beane, Mr. Moneyball himself, now a general manager.
When did Doc Gooden come out? When did he go?
He might have been a year before. I can't remember.
But he was close.
But him and Darryl were, but I don't think they may have come out the same year. And then I got a lot of UTSA baseball review. Most Steph Malone got touched up a little bit with ODU, but he's been so lights out all year. There's no telling if that's a bad umpire or what's going on there. I give that man the benefit of the doubt. He's having a legendary season. But UTSA, I went out and saw him Wednesday, and then UTSA won, took 2 out of 3 from Old Dominion.
Speaking of Most Def Malone.
Most Def Malone, yep.
Nobody has perfect games every single time, so he's allowed to have one bad game.
Yeah, and
one bad game.
The dude is awesome. So that's kind of was the Old Dominion, but I went out and watched him on Wednesday, and I couldn't get there because of T-ball practice, which is awesome. I got there like in the 3rd inning, and they were down. I think it was like 4-2, and then UTSA just exploded for offense.
I saw your pictures.
Oh, dude, the final score was 14-4. So I watched him go from 2 to 14 runs. I watched him put up 12 runs. I think they scored 11 in an inning. It was insane.
And when was this, Saturday?
Yeah, and so I was like making little notes on the scorecard of kind of UTSA so I can profile some of those guys. And then we can talk Japanese movies and also an American movie about Japanese crime, one of my favorite movies of all time, Black Rain.
I'm not too familiar with a whole lot of Japanese movies, but Battle Royale.
What is that the Bond one?
No, Battle Royale is basically like these, I think they're like middle school students, and they literally have to fight to the death.
Oh, that sounds awesome. And that's a Japanese movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll talk, we'll tease that now, but we'll talk about it later.
We'll tease that. So, yeah, I just have a bunch of like random grab bags, and then we can...
What do they say, little nuggets? You got your little nuggets?
It's just all nuggets.
Little nuggets.
I mean, mainly it's like we can, Roki Sasaki, but... And Mr. Nakatomi really is appreciating our Japanese coverage because I just kissed Major League Baseball goodbye. Oh, another thing I want to profile that's kind of cool. I don't really understand. Like, Twitter makes sense to me. You scroll through it and then you, like, click follow.
Yeah.
And when you use one social media's, like, interface, like, I know how it's like going from Windows to Apple. Like, it's just brain lock. Like, I don't fucking know how. So I'll just stay with Windows forever. Same thing with Instagram. So I was like, well, like, push our social media profile. And there's this really kick-ass graffiti guy who's having a show on Easter, and he's on Instagram. All the graffiti dudes are on Instagram.
Oh, he's going to go live or something?
Well, I was seeing if we could do, like, a podcast from his show. I was like, that might be cool if we could figure out how to do remotes. Start going to baseball fields and go to cool stuff. Pick up a few listeners here and there.
I think baseball, going to an actual game would be cool.
That would be super cool.
Because I wonder how much it would cost to buy like a booth or something. Not a booth, what do you call it? A box?
Yeah, well, something like that. And there's like a local card show coming up, so stuff like that. But anyway, I thought his stuff was cool, so I started like messaging him or something like, that's really cool art. You got this show, can we go? He's like, yeah, I don't know. What are you guys trying to do? I was like, it's stupid. We just like baseball and punk music, and nobody listens to us. But what's your aunt's name again?
Cheryl.
Aunt Cheryl.
My wife listens as well.
Yeah, I think a couple of my buddies are still kind of tuning in.
So that's 2 people.
Our anchor numbers are down, but I'm not worried about it because, like, we're not done. You just got to keep pushing the ball forward. Like, once we start doing, like, remotes.
This is our 10th episode. This mini.
This is 10. And then, you do some remotes. You do some stuff on location and start going to games, get some interviews. But anyway, he just random. So I don't understand Instagram. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I gave that dude a bunch of, had some kind of really cool colored spray paint cans that I gave to him. And I'm really looking forward to going to his show.
What's he do? What the fuck is a graffiti show?
I don't know. There's like these old kind of like warehouses downtown, and he'll contact the owners, because the buildings kind of look fucked up anyway. He's like, hey, can I paint your wall? Essentially, do you care? It's like he's paying for the paint. He's doing all the work. And then the owners are like, yeah, go ahead, dude. And then he finds other like awesome artists, and they're painting that big ass San Antonio Spurs coyote, and they're using all these like kind of Fiesta colors, like San Antonio Fiesta colors, so it'll be cool for everybody to go to.
So later.
Yes.
So that way, it ain't like last time we tried to play music.
So that's random. And then the other last thing I'll end with before I kick it back to you is I brought in my kiting magazine, and I'm going to hold it up because we have our camera going because we couldn't figure out live stream.
What's funny is I hope I changed the setting on the camera to 1080 and not 4K, because if it's on 4K, you're only going to get like an hour and a half of this.
Yeah. Well, probably, knowing us, it'll go sideways and chop off at 45 minutes.
Or the fucking video's going to record in all black somehow, black and white.
But, that's pretty much what I got. I'm just going to show you a kite roll and see what you think of that.
The hex box? Dude, so...
That's crazy, right?
It's totally random, but I'm thinking, because it's a kite... You know how certain bands run their merchandise into the ground? Like, they put their logo on everything?
Yeah.
That's going to be us. Just put 3BGB on everything.
Could do that, or we could go more rare. Like, make it like if you have one, it's super valuable.
You know the most rare thing?
What's that, bud?
Take one of these little foam things off the mic, put a 3BGB logo on it.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, there's a way to get logos on these little guards.
Absolutely.
I don't know how to do that.
You could get stickers or something.
Like Channel 5 News knows how to do that. I don't know how to do that. Look at this one. They look like little ducks.
Oh, the duck kite.
For the listeners who can't see what I'm showing Earl pictures of silly kites because I'm just off.
It's always funny too when you see a podcast and they do kind of like they do video and audio, but they're always like talking about stuff and someone's like, "Oh wait, this is gonna suck for just listeners."
Yeah, it's gonna suck for listeners. I think for the video we can find the happy medium because like if you come over and
on Anchor you can upload video too.
Oh yeah, you can.
Because I watched the Sony Philadelphia podcast on what do you call it, Spotify, and they have video. Okay. So I don't know if you need to like record into Anchor or not, but regardless, this video will be somewhere on the internet.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Look at this.
3BGB on YouTube. You literally type it in, and there's the 3BGB logo, not the cat guy.
It's absurd. It's
honestly shit.
The technology.
They can't see right now, but there's a lot of fucking cords on the ground.
There's cords. There's cameras. There's like this. The camera from that goes over here to the.
That's probably like a fucking 4-foot cord USB thing. That's all right. This is our 10th episode. We're getting there.
Number 10. We'll just keep pushing the ball. I put on my Saltillo jacket and suited up for
I've got
tie.
my Vlad Guerrero Jr. Bison's jersey on.
I think there's a level of pomp and showmanship involved in underground baseball journalism, which we're involved in. Because
it's like the punk of baseball journalism.
Well, I think that
sponsored by
mainstream. I mean, Ken Rosenthal's he'll throw on the bow tie. You know, if these dudes are doing a Major League Baseball team, they'll suit up. But some of the journalism I'm seeing is like, whatever. I'll just throw on a polo, and I'd go out there, just throw my sack out there without any kind of respect for the Howard Cosell mustard blazers of the past. And it's just like, well, that's the past. This is the future, and the future is we just get to wear
whatever we want.
Bullshit without trying, and that's not what we're doing here at 3BGB. There's level of
blazers are. Well, you have a blazer. My blazer is coming soon.
I have blazers. I got a tie. I don't like wearing ties, or maybe I do. I don't know, but like
I think you do, but you say you don't.
It's a dedication to underground baseball journalism. That's what
absolutely.
But I guess that's the roadmap, which is no kind of roadmap at all. But we can get into...
And we are prepared because we always have notes.
Well, I don't let you talk. That's my problem.
My wife was saying
that was good sound.
You hear that? That's a riffle of the paper. You hear that?
That's all.
Those are called notes.
That's all I got.
Papel, paper.
Well, I got notes on the UTSA Stephen F. Austin game. Oh, another thing about the. So I talked to Luke Malone after the game. Nicest guy ever.
Oh, you actually got.
Yeah, I talked to Pat Hallmark, the head coach.
Yeah.
And
didn't you call him Wheels last week?
I told him. I was like, dude, I looked at your career, man. You were fast as shit. And he kind of smirked. He was like, that was the one thing I could do. I was
he slaps his leg. He's like, hey, this old caballo, this old horse here can run.
He was such a class act. He's a great coach, but I was like, because I wanted to talk to him first, because if you're a head coach, you got nuts like me trying to like talk to your players. Like, I'd kind of like to know that. So I was like, hey man, I've been DMing with Luke Malone, trying to get some NIL, name, image, likeness contracts lined up. Talk to a couple of your guys. It's retarded podcast. Who knows if anybody's listening to it? We're having fun, and we talk about baseball and punk music.
19 subscribers on YouTube.
There
somebody's
you go.
interested.
So somebody's interested, and we got I'm a former college baseball player, so I think it's all kinds of fun. And by the way, I looked at your career, man. It's pretty good, dude. Your wheels, and he kind of laughed and joked. We chatted for a little bit, and then I caught up with Luke because I texted him. I was like, hey, I'm going to go to the game, try to catch up with you, and just talk to him. A little bit after the game, saying, yeah, we'll try to get some dudes together, do something fun, and just talk about life in college baseball. Couldn't have been a nicer guy. So really impressed. And here's the other thing I'll say about UTSA, because like you look at the numbers and you're like, who's who? What do these guys look like in person? It's the eye test. It's like you got to go see these guys. Yeah. They got some arms, man, and they got some young arms. I'll talk about a couple of their pictures and notes I had, but anyway, I digress. It's time to let Dutch Chattahoochee take over.
Before we do mention...
And give me your hot takes on any sort of present baseball, and then give me some history on the Mound. Because the only thing I know about the Mound, I'll just say this, and I'll shut up. Sorry.
So I wrote down two names that you may know, you may not know, because I know you don't really... You're kind of pissed off at MLB. The thing about MLB, I feel like I said this earlier this morning, MLB's like a friend that I really, really like. I love hanging around with, but they're really abusive to me.
Yeah.
That guy with the...
Well, we got to name that guy.
I don't have a name for him yet.
Okay, sorry. People are listening or what are they talking about? Sorry.
Well, if you're... So there's a... What do you call that fucking head thing we have on that counter over there?
It's like a mannequin head, a styrofoam mannequin head?
Yeah, there we go. Styrofoam mannequin head, and there's a Chicago Cubs hat on there. He has no name. It has no name.
For the wrestling fans of the world, remember that dude Al Snow? He used to bring around that head? Wasn't that awesome?
He'd always like, head, or whatever the fuck he would say.
Didn't he write help me on his forehead?
He did, yeah.
That's kind of awesome.
That was one of the coolest gimmicks. That was great.
It was a great gimmick. And just a rabbit hole on that for like the wrestling fans, and Josh
Reddick,
who's a wrestling fan, probably listening to us right now.
When he said wrestling, he stood up. He's like, oh shit, here we go.
I think there's like a level of... Like, you have to pitch your bosses. Like, you go to their wrestling camp, you get all buff, and then you, like, learn all the moves and the flips and the slams so you can safely do it without breaking your friend's neck. But then you have to go to, like, the writers and the creative management at WWE. Is like, I want to be... Remember, like, back in the day, it was, like, the Honky Tonk Man. And then IRS was, like, Irving R. Shyster. He'd, like, come out and smash you with his briefcase. So, like, like, The Rock, he was like a nice guy at the beginning. And then, they always got their, like, the Undertaker. So the Al Snow guy must have gone to the management and said, here's what I'm thinking. He was like, here's what I'm thinking.
Because I know sometimes the promoters, owners, all that, they give you a gimmick. But I wonder if that was something he pitched.
That's what I'm saying. He had to, those creatively genius.
Because some people make up their own because it's good. Like, okay. But then other times they kind of give you a
gimmick. They just maybe give it to you.
You're the generic Trunks. Like, you have some shitty name. Like Billy Jones.
Yeah, Billy Jones is going to get his ass kicked. But there was even those guys were like, that was the blue collar guy putting in work and getting his ass kicked.
You know what I would do if I was with a company and I knew I wasn't going to go far?
Yeah.
I would start doing stupid shit. Like, if I was like what do you call him? The jobbers, the one that always lose.
Yeah.
Know? I would just start doing stupid taunts, like start doing the belt and shit. Like, I'm about to become champion. Like, what is this guy doing?
Maybe that's
the bottom line.
Maybe that's our rabbit hole. Because, like, I feel like the Al Snow guy.
I used to be, like, I still like wrestling, but I used to worship wrestling.
There's a couple, like, wrestling camps in San Antonio because they do some luchador stuff that's really cool around here. But the Al Snow dude, I think he must have done that. He went to the manager. Was like, here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to carry around a mannequin head, and I'm going to be mentally unstable, and I'm going to write "help me" on my forehead. And clearly the management was just like, I love it. Do it. that's the kind of employer you want, who's just supporting your creativity. So that was good for Al Snow. But that's what we have. We have a mannequin head that Earl brought, and I thought that was great. And he's got a Cubs hat on it. We could tilt that so they can see it. And then he needs a name, though.
The hat was a little bit too big, so I figured I would use it in another way, because you don't simply give away or throw away a baseball hat. So
no,
I figured I'll do something with it. That styrofoam head came from a class project, so I'm in a digital video class, and we made a commercial about a loan shark, and my wife and I, she helped me make this dead body for class project, and that was that was inside the bag. So I'm like, I don't want to throw this head away.
That's a useful head.
I go to my my class.
They're teammates.
Yeah. I was like, hey, after we're done with this commercial, can I take the styrofoam head home? They're like, go for it. It was so awkward. They're like, you want that? I was like, duh. Because I knew exactly what I was going to do with it. I was going to grab a baseball hat and put it on there.
Yeah.
And bring it in here.
And I think that's getting picked up on the camera. I don't know if people can see our Eagles from the Nippon League jersey. And then we got our baseball cards over here. And our Frank Viola rookie card. But that's kind of what's going on. Just playing golf with Mr. Nakatomi. He's really into the Masters. I have nothing to say because I haven't watched any of it. But UTSA, Japanese baseball, rabbit holes, and then you just go, buddy. Just tell me, did you watch any MLB this weekend, or what I like to say, adult rec?
Well, I was at work, but I paid attention. Like there's a guy I wanted to. I wrote down some names that I think are cool. There's a guy named Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah, Bobby Witt, big prospect.
For the Royals.
Yep.
He went off. I think he hit a couple home runs this weekend.
Oh, really? That's good.
So that he's going to be a stud. And then that one girl that won she was like the first manager, like the girl manager to win a game.
Oh, yeah.
Rachel Bolovec.
Okay.
I don't know if you noticed.
Well, she's managing like Double-A or something.
Yeah, for the New York Yankees, I believe, organization.
Okay.
I thought that was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very awesome.
So first woman to win a regular season game is like.
It's only a matter of time until they're winning major league teams and winning world championships. Because I don't know, if you know the sport and you can manage the people, there's no reason it can't happen. And there's so many bad dude managers that what are you gonna do?
And people's like, well, they're girls. Well, they know. Well, doesn't matter.
Equal opportunity.
Because if they came from a softball background, softball's not that much different than baseball, really.
Softball's awesome in many ways. It's harder, so
especially the way they have to throw instead of like releasing it like this, they have to.
Yeah, just keep running up terrible dude managers. You're like, how about some equal opportunity? And next thing you know, you're going to win a championship, hiring a woman as your manager. So that's awesome. Here's one thing I did see that was Tampa Bay Rays related. Brent Phillips. Made this crazy play, and I just saw it on Twitter. It was like, man, this has got to be the best play ever for a pitcher. And so this dude pops a foul ball, and I can't remember. And I initially watched it, and he runs off the mound, and he sprints towards the third base dugout.
Oh yeah, there's a picture where his eyes are all big, and he's like,
and he makes this sliding catch just before the dugout net fence thing. And I was like, that was a crazy, amazing play. And then I watch it again, and it's this weird-ass, eephus pitch wind-up. And I was like, what the fuck? It's because Brent Phillips is like a center fielder. He's not a pitcher. And that's why he has wheels and can track that thing down. It's because he's way faster than a catcher in gear and probably way faster than a third baseman. So kind of an amazing play, but I think it was overblown a little bit because you're a flipping center fielder catching a fly ball. Still a great play. And then people were like, oh, that's the best play ever for a pitcher. But then people was like, oh, you forgot about Mark Burley's play. And then I was like, what's that? And so, of course, somebody will find it instantly on Twitter and post it. I don't know if it was like a line drive that ricocheted off somebody because it looked like the ball was rolling into foul territory. But there was a play at first base, and Burley is running as the pitcher, and he crosses right in front of the runner, scoops the ball with his glove, not looking, by the way, because he's now falling towards the first base dugout, and flicks it between his legs backwards to the first baseman, who's stretching, and catches it and gets the runner. It was kind of a crazy play. So
it's not really a play, but things that happen a lot is when the ball comes right at the pitcher and they're like right away.
Probably the line drive.
The reflexes that they have sometimes will just.
What's even worse is when it's hit so hard they don't have the line drive, and maybe I'm making this up, but I think this happened. Kirby Puckett, I think, hit a line drive off Billy Swift's forehead that like bounced off his head and went over the dugout.
I can see it. I mean, I could see that pitcher also collapsing to the ground.
Billy Swift was a really because the Mariners sucked, and he was actually a pretty good pitcher for the Mariners and a effective sinker ball pitcher, but he wore his hat. I don't know if he had a big head, but it seemed to me like, there's the Stan Belindas of the world who like pulled their cap down and curved the heck out of it, and he kind of like just had it really perched on top of his head. So there seemed to me there was a lot of forehead showing. You
ever seen those people like? So I'm a Rays fan.
I'm not sure if that's how I could have totally made that up. That's what I remember.
Since we're on this subject of hats,
one
and
of our
we wear them,
12 listeners find it.
Yeah, I'm obviously a Rays guy.
Yep.
As you know by now. We used to have this closer named Fernando Rodney.
Oh, Fernando Rodney's a legend. Love that guy.
Here's the thing. I'm not talking about his playing or nothing.
Yeah.
He'd wear his hat sometimes like this.
Yep.
And so whenever he would blow a save, I'm like, if you wore your fucking hat straight, this wouldn't have happened, Fernando.
There's a funny story about that.
So it was just every time he would blow a save, I'd be like, wear your fucking hat straight, you'd see better, and this wouldn't happen.
Yep.
You know what I mean? What's your story, though?
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm a pretty big traditionalist, which is why I hate Major League Baseball right now. And every once in a while, you get a guy who thinks he's too cool, and he's going to wear this and that, or he's going to tilt his cap or whatever, and this and that. And Fernando Rodney, for everybody who's watched him, because he's played on just about every Major League Baseball team.
He was with the Angels, the Tigers.
He's been with everybody. Yeah. Maybe he set the record for playing with more teams than anybody else. And he had crazy longevity. He's been around forever. And he threw hard forever. And he always had that cocked cap. And I would be lying if I didn't say I thought it was kind of a I'm too cool for school move. Or like, I'll check me out or whatever. And there's a reason he did that. And he said when he just recently retired after many, many years, his dad was a fisherman, and his dad would wear I might be getting this wrong, but his dad wore his hat tilted like that for the sun, to keep the sun up. And then his father passed away, and that's how he paid like homage and respect to his father.
Now I feel like shit making.
I know that's exactly how
I'm making fun of him wearing his hat all sideways, and it's like it's an homage to my dad. Like,
yeah, so yeah,
tilt away, my friend.
It was homage to his late father, and me and about hundreds of other people on Twitter. Like, I feel like shit. I used to like hate on that. So,
but again, like alone. I said when I started this statement, it's not against his playing. He was a good player.
He was great, man.
When he would blow a save in his house, like, where you fucking
with the Mariners. I mean, that's one like one of us probably need to like baseball reference it during the show because his career is epic.
Well, like you see, like players, like not players, but people in the baseball stadiums, they're covering their eyes and their hats backwards and all like this. I'm like, well, if you
just put it forward, I got my Spose hat on backwards.
I just realized that's a snapback that you have on there, that Expos hat.
The Expos snapback. The other random Expos hat story, and is Ken Griffey Sr. played AA baseball in Quebec. Huh. And somebody posted a picture
on Twitter
of a young Ken Griffey Jr. I'm talking like he's like a 7-year-old kid or something.
Yeah,
but he's wearing an Expos hat. And then, like, of course, Expos are kind of like legendary in the baseball collector and nostalgia.
Yeah, I found
history. Everybody just loves the Spos.
I have a Andrews Galarraga Expos card. I found a David Wells Expos card. I have. I have a couple. I have like 5 cards. They're great.
The history of that organization and just kind of like the love of it through the entire baseball community is so deep. But seeing a young Ken Griffey Jr. wearing a Spos hat, people were like, "Oh hell yes!" Keeping this as a Spos memento.
The Expos were awesome though. I wish they'd bring them back. They're never gonna bring them back. I don't think
they might. I mean, the problem you got with Major League Baseball right now is if you get so many teams with expansion, your product gets so you just don't. Nobody has that many starters. You don't have 5 ace.
Well,
there's just going to be so many bottom of the basement teams unless you change this like thing they're fighting about with the CBA and pay structure. Some of those teams are just going to suck forever.
Well, last year there
probably.
was that talk where the Rays wanted to have half their games in Montreal and half in Tampa, and Montreal was like, no.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't want them there.
I know Montreal definitely misses the Expos, and it was so cool. And I mean, that's the kind of city that can build them a cool new stadium. So that's what it'll come down to. It'll come down to fighting with whatever city you're in about the stadium, like Oakland and that sort of thing.
Toronto baseball fans are crazy for the Blue Jays, so they had another team in Canada to root for. It'd be awesome. Imagine having 2 teams. I feel like they need to put 1 too in Vancouver over there in the corner.
Vancouver would be a great baseball town. I'm trying to think but we went up and played like in Seattle. We played like exchange tournaments against these Canadian dudes. This was when I think I was 16. It's like Mickey Mantle ball or whatever it was.
A couple years ago.
And this dude was amazing. He was this amazing shortstop. He's an absolute vacuum cleaner. Anything got near him, sucked it right up through the first year out. Like you couldn't get him. And then he was crushing the ball, and they're like, "Yeah, that
John Claude." Yeah,
you could probably find the guy because this would have been it'd be like 92, and I don't even think he was a senior, so it would have been like early 90s. But I think he was a commit to Arizona State. Whether he ever
I was 6 years old in 92.
Yeah, I'm old.
I was a little kid, man.
But
I was a little boy.
That was Vancouver. Good baseball players up there in Canada. And I don't know, but you want to give us something on the history of the Mound with all those notes? Because the only thing I know,
I was just so it's kind of a boring subject, I guess, to casual baseball fans. But
I don't think it is.
I thought it was interesting because remember we were at the Mexican baseball game, and I was like, I want to know if that thing's always how that got started, if it's always been raised or you know what I mean?
Right.
I thought it was interesting.
I think it's super interesting, and the only thing I know is that it was whatever it was.
'Cause
there's like a distance, everything's regulated. So it was like a certain height. And then Bob Gibson, like in the 60s, was so untouchable one year. Like he had like just like a couple. It was just like, they're like, dude, we have to lower the mound. Or they lowered the mound after that because it was like Gibson and Koufax were so dominant, and mainly just Bob Gibson. And so people kind of like attribute the lowering of the mound to that season, which when it's just like one guy, you're going to lower the mound for one guy. So they probably were thinking about it anyway, but they needed more offense.
Because now it's 10 inches high. So
they're always trying to monkey decent with it. But like you said, there had to have been, right? These dudes were probably just playing in some farm field. And then, you look at the old-timey pictures from like the 1800s. They're just like out in some...
There's no mound.
There's no mound.
And they used to, when I was looking up stuff, that you were able to get a running start so you can kind of run a little bit and then kind of...
Like cricket, just run up there.
Yeah, kind of throw it. But then, so originally, when I was researching, I should have wrote down what website I got this from, but it had like all the history. And so originally the pitcher was just there just to pit, like not even be a pitcher. He just threw the ball to the hitter because mainly got the game going. It was all about the hitters and not really the pitcher.
Yep.
And then I guess, I don't know what happened when it was like, okay, let's actually make this both ways, have good pitchers and hitters, not just, here's the ball, just kind of toss it to the hitter so you can get going.
That makes sense. Just human nature.
Yeah.
Trying to like win. Because I noticed that in like, we'd play softball in the Marine Corps every once in a while. It happened to seem like it happened more in Okinawa. There just wasn't that much to do there. But even then, you were like trying to like paint the corner with this underhanded, slow-ass softball because you're just lobbing it in there.
Yeah.
But you're like, you can pick inside or outside. So you're just like, this dude's going to pull it. So you're always trying to like lob it to the outside, make him chase. So even in lobbing softballs, you're trying to like strategize. So it makes sense that the pitching in early baseball was like, well, let me just do something a little bit funny to throw them off.
Because originally, like it was like used to be a lot closer, and now it's like I think 60 feet.
60 feet 6 inches.
How do you know that? Like the exact amount?
I don't know. They always sometimes they say it.
That's
but
what it is. Yeah, I know it used to be like 40. I think it started out with like 45.
Okay.
Once they established a mound. Which 45 feet is really kind of close.
On the distance, leave it to. I read an article because I was reading on rule changes and why the best adult rec baseball league in the world. Some people call it MLB. I don't really call it that anymore. But why the best adult rec baseball league in the world has been monkeying with all these rule changes. They test them out in some of these like leagues, like the Atlantic League or wherever. They're testing them out, and one of the things they tested was adding like a foot. So instead of 60 feet 6 inches, it was 61 feet 6 inches. And they wanted to see, and the article, which was interesting to me, because they're like, well, let's get more offense, faster, more offense. So they're actually the stats that they did, and I don't know if they played like a whole season, but they did a lot with that at that distance. The stats showed it didn't make one bit of difference, honestly.
It's almost like the 3-point shooting in basketball. They're expanding, like pushing the mound back, see how far they can throw. Do you know, this is totally random speaking of pitching mound, I was looking up when I was doing research, originally there was no balls and strikes, so you could just...
just forever.
Yeah, and so according to this website, which I could not fucking remember, I should have wrote down what website it was, but so like it was like early on in baseball times, like in the 1800s,
yes,
pitchers sometimes would throw 200 to 300 pitches per game.
Yeah, it's just...
Because if there's no balls and strikes, you're just there for however long.
Chunking it up there. Well, yeah, that makes... kind of sense as you're inventing the game, but
because I mean, it would make most sense to me. It's just like, okay, we'll you play till you get out, I guess.
Yeah,
kind of like make it, take it, I guess in basketball.
No balls or strikes. Okay. Well, that you could see why they came up with the strike rule then, right? Because the dudes just kept trying to like throw it outside, make you swing at it. You just get bored. Like, I got to swing. At
some point, you're going to get tired. Like, dude, I've done 300 pitches. I'm tired. We got to fucking figure something else out.
Yeah.
But that was crazy.
That's interesting. Okay. No balls and strikes. No mound in the 1800s. When did they start piling up that dirt?
When did they start piling it up? I don't know.
When did they go from flat ground to, like, I feel like some dude must have, like, initially, like, when you're a batter, you dig into the batter's box, right? So the pitchers are probably out there digging in on their spot.
About 1864, that's when not necessarily the mound itself, but the idea of a pitcher's box was instituted.
Oh, okay.
So that way they weren't allowed to just, like I said originally, just run and throw. They had to like be confined.
Yeah, you got to be confined, right? Because I'd run up real close.
So in 1864.
1864.
That's when the idea of a pitcher's box was
pull up some Civil War history. It feels like it was in there somewhere. But,
the original Raleigh Fingers pitching
just with the mustache.
But I can't imagine thinking about originally baseball with someone just running and then throwing it like a head start.
That would be good. Like, that's what they got in the cricket. You run up there, but you can't go past a certain point. So, yeah. Do they got anything in there?
So the exact year that the pitching mound was introduced, the exact year was 1893. That's when the mound was introduced. So that way, it was an equal opportunity for pitchers and batters, because now you're equal with them.
Still 18, like that was like Cy Young era there. So the Civil War, I was right. 1865, the Civil War ended.
If you're a casual baseball fan, you're gonna find this extremely boring.
They're gonna like it. And did you know baseball was like because there's like I was reading this thing on the Sabermetrics has done the Negro Leagues are major leagues, and they're coming up with these awesome Negro League stats because all those dudes were basically Hall of Famers, and they were kept out of organized baseball because of racism. Yeah. And now you're digging it up. You're like, yeah, these. If you look at the Negro League numbers against Major League, because they would play exhibition games, dude, they're beating the crap out of Major League teams, but up to a certain, like, I don't know what the years were when they started introducing the segregation. Because baseball, it's kind of like early sport. Like, we're just going to get people who can play. Yeah. It wasn't segregated. There was it was open to anybody in the 1800s. So they had some interesting statistics.
If you could play, you get a spot.
If you could play, you get a spot. So it wasn't like that back then when the game was kind of like coming on before it turned into this business or whatever. It was more recreational fun. But
and then like whenever the pitching mound was introduced, there was technically no height originally.
You could just go mountainous.
Well, no. I mean, I guess yeah, because the only rule they had was it had to be. I think what did it say? What did it say? Oh yeah, it had to be no more than 15 inches. So you could have it anywhere between. Now, could you imagine if you had like a 30-inch mound?
It had to be, and I don't know if that's in your research there, but there's always the pioneer, right? There's always the Albert Einstein or the Alessandro Volta.
Yeah, they didn't give any. I'm sure you can find it, but this website didn't give any exact people who decided. Well, I want to do it. Let's do it as high as we can go. Let's do 15.
And Tesla, Alessandro Volta, these pioneers in their field. There had to be the Mound pioneer who's like, the Brooklyn Charlie Dodgers are coming to town, and I got a trick up my sleeve. And he just gets out there at night with his shovel and just starts piling up dirt. And then everybody shows up the field the next day like, what in the heck is this?
Here's the Alabama Titans.
He's like, I don't know. There's just a pile of dirt here. I like throwing from the top of this thing.
Had the mustache.
And then he probably like throws a shutout or something. And they're like, what?
One hitter?
Yeah. He's like, the freaking guy in his pile of dirt.
One hitter game.
Like, we got to try this. If there's no rule, we're doing it next.
Jimmy
so then
Jones with his 300 pitch, one hitter.
That's right. So somebody did it first, just piled up a bunch of dirt, got the shovel out, and then everybody probably did it. And then they're like, okay, well, this is ridiculous. It's too tall. We got to put a limit, and now we're at 15 inches.
Yeah. So there was no originally once the pitching mound was introduced, there was no rules but it had to be no more than 15, so you could play with the height.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I remember that because I pitched in high school, and the one problem you always had, that were you're very jealous of major league groundskeepers is, it was once you start pushing, you dig a real hole with your toe pushing off, and then the hole for you gets on one part of the rubber that maybe, depends on how the other guy pushed off. If he was making a bigger hole, and then it was all uneven where you wanted to stand on the left of the rubber and get all.
Well, that's exactly why the mound was invented, for the momentum and the speed and the elevation. Plus, it made it harder for hitters to hit, obviously, because you're coming at an angle now instead of straight. The
down angle, yeah.
And then, at some point that pissed off people because, there's not enough offense now. And so rules had to be changed once again. And
adult rec league, monkeying with the game, but they got their rec league with their ghost runners, so they're good.
I'm never going to, there's no way, there's nothing you can say to me that can make me be like, you know what? Okay, ghost runners, that's a cool idea. I understand now. No, there's nothing.
Free runners.
But do you know on MLB The Show?
Yeah.
You can turn that shit off. I turn it off. I don't want to. Yeah, on my baseball game, you can turn ghost runners off. So I turn it off. Fuck that shit.
Here's what I'm saying next for Major League Rec League or Rec League Baseball.
What's that?
Is you got your ghost runners now, and now you got the universal DH. I think you can loosen up some other stuff. Like, I mean, I'm just spitballing here inside Rob Manfred's head, and he's probably sitting there. He's drinking heavily. So, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, so he's hammered. He's been drinking since last night, and he's just mulling over ideas. He's like,
his second bottle of scotch.
He's like, honestly, these dudes don't need cleats, man. They just wear tennis shoes and sweatpants. It's rec league.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have team colors, but I think sweatpants. I think after ghost runners, the next thing is just sweatpants and tennis shoes.
Oh, you want to wear basketball shorts as long as they match the colors? Go for it.
That's the next.
So
thing.
You see the New York Yankees in some like pinstripe navy blue basketball shorts.
Yeah, that's what I think.
It's with the rules.
Honestly, I think. And this is what I'm saying. If you're in the highest rec league baseball in America, what the rule should be is like you can wear tennis shoes. Your socks have to match team colors. If you got like some and one shirts from Walmart that are like Charlotte Hornets colors, that's cool. Like your Aaron Judge, just tuck in your Yankees jersey into your and one Charlotte Hornets shorts and wear tennis shoes, but your socks have to match, and you can play rec league.
Or Manfred's like, you know what? Fuck it. As long as there's something that you're wearing that's the color of your team, we're good. So you can have all pink.
Jersey. It's the jersey and the hat, but you can just wear sweatpants or
whatever you want underneath. So your torso is anything you want. Some of those white new, what do you call it? Nike Monarchs, the older dudes, suburban dads wearing shit.
Yeah, or Zubas.
Yeah.
More Zubas, like those tiger stripe print.
I'm ready for the bring back the baseball shorts, make those mandatory.
That's where they're at. And that's why.
And then they're going to be like, you know what? Here's another rule. the pitching mound. You have home plate, and there's like the grass between the. You got the home plate dirt and all that. You could pitch anywhere in that area as long as you don't go into the dirt. So if you want to get as close as possible, go for it.
What are the rules? Baseball history means nothing. Let me get over here. I'm sure I'm going to probably turn off the recording.
What do you do? What are you doing?
I'm just going to... I don't want to do that. We're still recording.
What was the question?
I don't know. Technology is like audition. You want to change your audio preferences? Not in the middle of a podcast or audition. Probably not.
Like, why would ask us that? We never change it.
I don't know. It's got a mind of its own, really.
We always record on 4 tracks.
But since adult rec league baseball in America is off to a swimming start with his opening day, and Bobby Witt Jr. hitting home runs. Was he wearing basketball shorts? Because I don't really watch.
No, he was wearing cutoffs. He was wearing jorts.
He's wearing jorts. That's what we're coming to next.
Yeah, you know what though? Honestly, I will say this. I think it'd be cool. Hear me out.
Yeah.
Is if the baseball people, like you said, okay, so they have to wear their team jersey and their hat.
Yep.
But they can go 50 style, wear jeans and rolled up. They can wear rolled up jeans and Chuck Taylors. That'd be fucking badass.
That's
like in the Sandlot, how they dress with those rolled up jeans and the Converse.
I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. So I'm gonna go ahead, bud. Keep going.
This is random. This doesn't even involve anything important.
Yeah.
So this week in the Rays, we were like, we swept the Orioles, which whatever, they suck ass. We're like, we're 3-0, 3-0. We ran our mouths, and then we get on Monday. So we come Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We sweep the Orioles,
the
right?
Rays, yeah.
Baltimore, we sweep them. Monday we play Oakland Athletics. We get our ass beat 12-3 or 13-2, 13-2.
Yeah.
We're all running our mouths 3-0, and then we get blown out, and we're like, "Damn it, karma bit us in the ass."
Yeah, it's a long season. You can't. It is what it is. It's early. It's hard to tell who's got what, and you can't really run your starters out there for 6 innings. Everyone's going to do like 3 or 4, and then you get your bullpen's going to do the rest. So who knows what the teams are? I follow the rec league. On the side.
That's what you're calling it now, rec league?
That's what it is.
You know what, you have me. I'll have you tell you about the rec league. I'll tell you what happened.
I was just going to call it it's the best baseball in the world.
Juan Soto had a good opening weekend, obviously.
I'm not saying that they're not making millions and it's not the best baseball in the world, but the league itself is a rec league.
I see it like this, sort of.
Yeah.
You like a restaurant, you like the food, you like the products they have, but the manager and the owner is just a shithead. Right? Something like that?
I don't know. I'm trying to find an analogy.
Because that was my analogy.
For it.
That was my analogy.
That's pretty good.
Kind of like like I said, you like the restaurant, you like the food, but the manager and the owner is a dickhole, so you're kind of like, I don't want to go there because I have to deal with them all the time.
Yeah.
Something like that, I guess, sort of.
I guess I'm trying to think about, like, an instance where maybe the best in the world is not... he turned into like kind of a psycho anti-Semite or whatever. But Bobby Fischer was like for a while the greatest chess player, but he wouldn't play because he had all these like weird. That's not that good of an analogy.
Was that the guy that like defected to some other country?
Yeah, he like defected to Iceland or something like that. I'm trying to think.
Has he got in some trouble or something?
I'm trying to think of an instance where a dude just didn't snap into, but. Major League Baseball has a great history in this country, and it is what it is, and it ended in 2021, and now it's Rec League, and they still have some of the best players in the world, but it is not professional, in my personal opinion, and by that I don't mean paid to play, I mean just professional. It's not treated with a level of professionalism or respect that the history of the sport previously had achieved, and now the Premier League in the world, in my personal opinion, is the Japanese Baseball League.
So did you like Bud Selig, the previous commissioner?
Wasn't that big of a Bud Selig fan, but as opposed to like my dislike-o-meter for Selig was almost, the needle was pinned all the way to the right, and it actually came back down a little bit on him as his tenure went. He monkeyed with the leagues and kind of like moved them around, which didn't make a lot of sense to me.
I think he was one that did that rule of whatever.
Well, he moved the Brewers like from the American to the National League or something. It was weird because it was his team.
Well, the Astros went from the National League to the American League.
Yeah, so I wasn't really down with a whole lot of that. But the one thing I will say about Selig as opposed to Manfred is Selig was a baseball owner because he was a baseball fan. Like, if you want to talk about Bud Selig and all the things he did wrong or right, he does like baseball. I genuinely believe Bud Selig likes and loves baseball. I don't know if I'm agreeing or disagreeing. I probably can't even give a proper laundry list of the things he did that I can argue about. But the misalignment of some of the leagues and moving people from American to national, there may have been sense. He did interleague play, I think. That was a good idea. The expanded playoffs was probably a good idea. I don't know what point it's too much, like the NBA got a lot of teams getting in, so I don't know. I can't complain with that, but the straws that broke the camel back happened for me this season, and it was on Manfred's watch. So my dislike-o-meter is pinned to the right on him pretty hard. And now, like I said, it's fun for me to get into these other leagues because I think they're awesome, and you can't tell me that the baseball isn't as good because you got dudes over there throwing 100 and throwing a perfect game.
I also think now, I think a lot of them are going to be like the decision to come to MLB will be a little bit harder of a decision now that the rules are stupid.
That's what I'm saying.
Because normally they're like, oh yeah, hell yeah, let's go MLB, more money, better opportunity.
I think it's more money for them.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons. One is however they do the contracts pay structure in Japan. It's like
Ohtani,
you're kind of like an employee. It's weird. I don't really understand it, but I know when you're like the Ohtanis and the Ichiros and stuff.
What was that guy too? Remember he went to the Yankees? I cannot remember his name.
Hideki Matsui.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Daisuke Matsuzaka.
Yeah.
These guys, when they come and they can see the free agent deals that guys are getting in the States.
Too.
It's way more money. I think it's way more money than you can make on a contract in Japan. But I would say for how much money do you really need? And there is a level of like tradition and professionalism in Japanese baseball where it's just like, do you really want to leave this league for the clown show now and ghost runners? I don't know. So what I saw with Roki Sasaki's perfect game is everybody's like, oh man, this guy's filthy. Look, he's throwing 100. He's got all these pitches. He's got this crazy windup. He's only 20 years old. I can't wait till he comes to Major League Baseball. And my tweet was, I hope he never comes to Major League Baseball. I hope he stays in the NPB forever. It was so cool. And his catcher, if you go, like there's somebody put together a video of all like 19 of his Ks.
That's a lot.
And 13 in a row. The previous record in Japan was 10. And I think it was also the adult rec league record was like previously like Tom Seaver had the most. Seaver being behind you on the on our artwork there, but Seaver and maybe another guy had the most consecutive Ks. It was like 11 or something.
Isn't it like for a perfect game, it's 27 batters, right, that you faced?
Yeah, 27.
So if you strike out 19 of those 27,
it's insane.
Yeah. You're striking out almost every single.
So you struck out 19 dudes.
Striking out the side almost every time.
13 in a row. That's great. And 19 is also, because I know like Clemens and Kerry Wood, some other dudes had some like 20 strikeout games.
That's 4 innings straight of striking out the side.
In MLB, but like 19 is the record. So people were like, this is the greatest game that has ever been pitched in Japanese League Baseball because it's a perfect game, but it also is the record for most strikeouts in a game, and it broke the record also for most consecutive strikeouts. So it was just an insane performance. And so the next thing you hear is like, oh, the catcher was 18, and a catcher plays a huge role in that game.
Sasaki, too, was straight out of high school, went straight to what is it called? The Marines or Mariners? What is the name of the team?
The Chiba-Lotte Marines.
Marines, okay.
Is what
So straight out of high school, this dude was a stud.
Yeah, dude. I mean, these guys are amazing. I found some like interesting. One of them was like an article that must have been like fully translated with all the differences in language on Ko Matsukawa, the 18-year-old catcher, because they were talking about him in like training camp, and the manager for the Chiba Latte was like, and I can't really
need a sip of this drink here.
They were like, man, he is really I didn't realize he was 18. Like, he's really receiving the ball well. He's blocking up good. He just seems way more mature than he is. And when you watch the Sasaki perfect game, the way he's just like framing and catching, and then like just, it's like because he was striking out a bunch of dudes, and sometimes to end the inning, he just like chucked the ball out. He looked like a veteran. He did not look like an 18-year-old catcher.
You're also doing the pitches, the types of pitches.
I mean, sometimes you can have the manager involved in pitch selection, and if Sasaki's a lights out kind of phenom pitcher, so he's probably calling a lot of his own pitchers. But as a catcher, you need to be mentally on the same page as your pitcher, so he's not always shaking you off. So yeah, he's calling the game, but you have to know what he's want, because if you're always putting down the pitch that he doesn't want to throw, now he's got to shake you. So is he going to shake you every time? So like you as an 18-year-old catcher, kind of being on the same mental page as what your guy wants to throw right now, and there's not a whole lot of shaking, and you're just running through batters.
That relationship is tight.
Kind of amazing. So that was a really awesome thing in the premier professional baseball league on this planet.
And even last year, he had a great season. He only had his ERA was only 1.84.
Yeah.
So below 2, which is...
Dude is lightning. I hope he never comes to rec league ball.
Oh, another thing about this guy is I watched a video break down his like pitching mechanics.
Okay.
And I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, he does have some crazy.
His legs, he lifts his legs super high.
He also does like when you look at the perfect game, he straightens his arm. He kind of like puts it. He like does that crazy leg kick, and then his arm. A lot of dudes just kind of keep it hooked but he straightens it out and then it would be so.
Because his leg is so high that when he comes down, he's driving that ball so fast.
It would be crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's like, I can't do it right now because I'm sitting down. But yeah, he has a high leg. His leg goes super high. When he comes down, he just slings that ball. Where they say that he has like a really good landing spot, the anchor point where his foot comes down, and so he just gets all that acceleration and just.
Exciting stuff.
And I never thought I would watch somebody break down someone's pitching mechanics, but it was awesome.
Roki, which is also kind of a kick-ass name, right? Roki.
Oh yeah.
Roki. I just like saying it.
Hey, Roki.
So yeah, Roki Sasaki, perfect game. If that isn't enough to turn off your MLB package and get on some hitting the table.
I also think too that the Japanese Baseball League realizes that more fans are coming in because of the MLB shit show right now. Mm-hmm. And so they're doing a lot of cool stuff to the new fans, like especially like last week when we talked about the guy riding on a hoverboard.
Yeah, hoverboard. KBO does Boss really cool fan engagement stuff. The games are really cool, and they got people dancing and singing all kinds of crazy stuff. So cool it's awesome. KBO.
But we still have minor league baseball, which they haven't touched too much.
Yep.
But yeah, MLB, man, I don't know, dude.
Minor league baseball is awesome. I mean, we're gonna go see the missions, and like I said, I'll still go to a rec league game if the Stros or Rangers are playing or whatever.
Because my wife's never been to an MLB game, and she was wondering she wants to go, and I was like, well, fuck the Astros, we'll go to Rangers.
Yeah, I mean,
because they're the same distance, and I feel like
kind of is the same distance, isn't it?
Yeah, same driving, and the old Rangers Stadium, the ballpark in Arlington. I used to go there so much, dude. The place is legendary. But now they have a new field. I don't know the name of the new one, but it looks so badass, dude. We got to go to that one.
All right,
I'll take her. I've
been a rabbit holing too long, so here's what I'm gonna do. We're at an hour. I'm gonna give you a few pieces of Japanese League candy out of my candy bag.
Can I eat some until I'm sick?
Yes.
Okay.
You can.
I'll take all the candy I can get.
I'm gonna give you some random stuff on Japanese, and then I'm gonna cover 3 films.
And I have one of my own to add.
One of them is the American film Black Rain. And then I'm going to give about 5 minutes, hopefully. I like have so much random stuff I talk about. I really want to talk about the UTSA game I watched on Wednesday, which was awesome. Everybody should go check it out.
I noticed, too, what was I going to say? I can't remember now. Oh, since you're going to talk about your Japanese movies, I want to talk about mine.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
Because I was like, you know what? When I saw your text about what we were going to talk about, I was like, you know what? I know a movie right away that I think will be interesting.
So, little pieces of candy. We already threw out Vladimir Valentin, single season home run record, 60 homers, and we just got to watch him play in San Antonio, which is crazy to me. And now that I realize that he's basically Roger Maris, I want to go to Saltillo and get his autograph because it's just like a moment in history, and then we'll be gone. I started looking through my Japanese baseball cards because I bought ones for this season, but on eBay you can get anything, and I bought a bunch of baseball cards from 97. Ooh. So I got all these like over decade old Japanese baseball cards, and I remember when I was reading about Vladimir Valentin breaking Sadaharu's record, they were talking about Tuffy Rhodes, and I was like, dude, I got a Tuffy Rhodes card, and I looked in there, and sure as shit, I do. So
those would make those like 25-year-old cards if they're from 97.
Yeah, they're sweet. And so I looked in there, and then I started separating. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull out all the gaijin, all the foreigners.
Also, if you ever get an Ichiro card, I want to steal it from you.
And I think he would have been there then, too, but I didn't get one.
He came into the Mariners in, 2000, 99, something like that?
And I can't remember his team, but he could have been there, and I didn't get an Ichiro. But I got a Hideki.
Okay.
Matsui.
That's also a good card.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah. But it's not like an official Hideki, like his regular card. It says like some kind of all-star card. So
those special like editions, they have those.
Yeah. So I pulled all the gaijin out, and I started looking at them. I looked at my Tuffy Rhodes, and here's some of the gaijin I got. One guy's name was Balvino Gomez. And I want to say Balvino Gomez only pitched in like... he pitched in maybe like 20 innings one season for the Dodgers when he was really young, and then he just bounced around all these. He pitched in the CPBL, which is the Taiwanese league. He pitched in the Korean league. He played in, and there's a mystery, in 1993 it shows him playing in for Mexico City in the Mexican League.
Another fucking error popped up on the goddamn screen.
Oh, that's good. That's still recording. So I was like, man, this guy had an amazing career. He got to play Major League Baseball. Then he plays in Japan. Then he plays in Korea. Then he plays in Taiwan. Then he goes to Mexico. And then I found another guy like that. The guy's name was Luis de los Santos. He played in the Japanese League. And he played all over the place. And he played, if on Baseball Reference, you can see the last place he played, get this, the ITSA, Italian League. What? It was called
I had no idea.
Nettuno. Yeah, so I was like going down the rabbit holes, like, are there any stats from this Italian League? This is like in the 90s or something. Or maybe like late 2000s. And sure enough, I mean, I know there's baseball in Italy and there's baseball in Europe, but I didn't realize Baseball Reference was tracking them. So Luis de los Santos played everywhere. Another one of the gaijin I got was a dude by the name of Bobby Rose. And here's one thing you'll kind of notice about guys that end up, and again, I maintain it's the greatest professional baseball there is presently at this time. But Major League Baseball previously being the king of the mountain. No longer, but guys that would go and get drafted and play for this organization or that organization, and you kind of look at their minor league stats, like how did you end up in Japan? And it's because, well, you didn't make a Major League team. You weren't, like crushing it. You weren't hitting like 50 homers and made the squad, or when they brought you up, to play for the Angels or whoever, you kind of hit like 210 and not that many RBIs and you weren't giving them Major League team what they wanted. You get released and your agent finds you a spot in Japan. And some of the guys' numbers would really go wild, like Vladimir Valentin, was obviously not a 60 homer guy when he was in the Mariners organization, or he would have never left Major League Baseball.
Most people would have heard of him.
Yeah, so these guys were good, but some of the minor, like Tuffy Rhodes, minor league stats, like some of these guys you wouldn't realize is that going to be like a 55 guy homer a year in Japan. I mean, they're pretty good, but a lot of these dudes' numbers would go up like considerably for a couple crazy seasons in the Japanese league. And one dude was Bobby Rose. So I got this gaijin named Bobby Rose, Japanese card from 1997, and I'm looking all these guys up in Baseball Reference. pretty good, but I could see why he probably got released. And then he ends up playing for the Yokohama Bay Stars. And this one season, 1999, he has 153 RBIs. I was like, good grief, that's a shit pot of RBIs.
So what? Yeah.
So I looked up the single season record. The single season record for
now is this MLB record or just in general?
No, this is no. I think Hack Wilson has something crazy for like 170 RBIs. Like him and Lou Gehrig had these crazy RBI seasons that don't make any sense to me. Like how many people could be on base when you hit that double. But anyway, the Japanese league record is 161. I believe, or 162. Let me see, 8 off the record. So, yeah, 161's a record. So this guy Gene comes over, pretty good player, and then goes insane one year and hits 150. He didn't even lead the league in home runs. He's like 30 homers or something, like 20-something doubles. I was like, dude, you must have been clearing the bases every time you got a hit. So that's Bobby Rose. And then the other thing I noticed in my Japanese league rabbit holing is they had all these like records. So I was looking at some Reddit page with records, and it had like most homers in an inning, most stolen bases in an inning, most like it had season career records, and the consecutive batters walked. Hideo Nomo, July 10th, 1992, 5 consecutive batters walked. So he walked in 2 runs, but then Hideo came to the Dodgers and was insane. I think he won Rookie of the Year. He was like 11-1 or something like that. But I was like, I guess that would make sense why you would leave him in, because he was kind of a superstar. So you're like, whatever, he's kind of wild right now, but he has a split finger fastball.
Kind of like when Yu Darvish came over here.
Yeah, but that was some...
I remember that too. He was like, there was so much hype around that guy. Yu Darvish is coming to the pro MLB.
So that's the Japanese league rabbit hole. Now I'll let you do gambler's choice. Do you want me to go Japanese movies, or do you want me to review my UTSA Wednesday night experience?
Well, let's continue the Japanese stuff. Let's do the movies, and then we'll transition to the UTSA baseball.
All right. This is neither here nor there, but I'm gonna just tell you about 2 Japanese movies I've seen that I thought were pretty weird, and I can't remember why I watched one of them.
Probably got bored.
Actually, I can't remember why I watched either of them, but I think one of them is called Vengeance is Mine, and Vengeance is Mine is like a 1970s or 60s movie that is the movie make of an actual real life story that somebody in Japan wrote a book about this like serial killer who was like a fugitive. And the only reason I checked it out is because it was like sometimes they do these like movie collections where it's like the best movies from other countries, and you can like you just want to see the directorial skill. Like, why was this such a cool thing back in the 70s? And so that's why I watched it, because I was like, sometimes I like foreign films, and it was kind of weird. It was kind of 70s, but this dude like kills these dudes, robs them, and then goes on the run in Japan, and then he like ends up like hiding out in a brothel. And then the brothel people were like, well, I'm pretty sure this guy's a killer because his face is all over the news, but I work in a brothel maybe, and I'm not supposed to do that, so nobody's going to listen to me or whatever. I'm not going to tell the cops. This dude just is on the lam forever, and he's just killing everybody. And then they finally get him. And it's a weird movie, and it's a weird Japanese movie. And
Lamb, low and moving.
So my 2 cents on that one, because I'm just filling air. Don't watch that movie.
It's why?
I don't know. I mean, I guess you could, but it's kind of sad and mean.
It's just suck like, or what?
Yeah, it's just people dying, and it's weird. 70s. So that's one. The other one, which I remember, which was also super weird, was called Audition. This is like I think like a 1999 or year 2000 horror movie in Japan. And I had to look it up because, like, the premise is this dude's a widower. And he's like, I'm going to start dating again. And his buddy is like a producer, film producer. He's like, oh, dude, we'll find you a nice gal to date. We'll do auditions. Like, we're doing auditions for a movie, so we can kind of interview them. And then,
but these are girls, right, for him to date?
Yeah, these are like actually girls for him to date. The movie's never going to get made. And it was kind of a commentary on how sexist society was, that dudes could, try to pull something off like this. But anyway, he ends up picking out this chick to date, and that's when it gets weird because she's maybe a crazy killer, and she can't stand the fact that he loves anybody else or looks at anybody else. In the very end of the movie, she like injects him in the neck or something with this paralyzing agent, and then she starts sawing his feet off. But she's not like sawing him off with a saw. She's like got this like cable wire she wraps around him and then just goes back and forth until he like chops his foot off. And then like his son comes home. It gets weird, but like his son comes home, and then maybe she like tries to paralyze him and kill him, but he knocks her down the stairs and she dies. And then, of course, because it's a weird horror movie, he like wakes up from a dream like, oh no, that didn't happen at all. I didn't get my foot sawed off.
I hate when they fucking do that shit.
It was just a dream. And she's like laying next to him. He's like, oh, okay. And then he like falls back asleep, and then maybe it's not a dream, and it gets all weird. So that's 2 Japanese movies that have nothing to do with anything. Now, for the cherry on top, one of my favorite movies of all time, not a Japanese movie. It is called Black Rain, and if you've never seen it, here's what I will tell you.
Which I have not.
Go see it. And it kind of comes full circle because I did that stupid Denver and ETH sketch for 3BGB that's on the thing. And I was going to write an article, Things to Do ETH Denver When You're Dead, because there's the movie, Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, with Andy Garcia. And that movie does not hold up. Don't go back. It's an all-star cast. It just doesn't hold up in my personal opinion. But so don't go watch Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. The only reason that movie's memorable is the title's funny. Christopher Walken's in it, and they kill everybody with a buckwheat, which is where you shoot somebody up the butt. That's why you'll remember Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. But I'm coming full circle because Andy Garcia's in that movie, and Andy Garcia's also in Black Rain, and he gets his head chopped off. And here's how.
Please tell me. Okay. I want to know.
Okay, so...
I'm warming up my hands because I'm like, ooh.
So... dude, it's the best movie ever. I kind of don't want to ruin it. But anyway...
go ahead and ruin it. Fuck it. No one's going to watch it.
Nobody's going to watch it. They need to.
Not a chance.
Okay, so Michael Douglas and Andy Garcia are like New York cops. And they're just like getting coffee or getting lunch at this like diner. And there's these Japanese dudes in there, just like at this Italian restaurant or whatever, eating. And then a bunch of like Yakuza dudes come into the restaurant with Uzis, hold up the restaurant, and then this guy, who's a really good bad guy, really great actor, comes over to this dude, pulls open his jacket and pulls out this like rectangular box. And then I can't remember if he stabs the guy. I think he just stabs the dude in the chest, and then they run out. And then Michael Douglas is like, they don't want to make a move for their police guns, which they're carrying, because all these dudes are carrying Uzis. And then they like run out on foot and get a couple of dudes and chase this guy down, and they actually catch him. They catch him right at the beginning of the movie. They catch this bad guy that killed this dude in the restaurant. His name is Sato. And so then you got to transfer him back to jurisdiction in Japan. So Michael Douglas is like on the flight, and they take him to the airport, and there's this old switcheroo where these dudes show up at the airport like they're the police, like, here, sign this form, we'll take the prisoner now. And he just hands off Saito to these Japanese cops who don't turn out to be Japanese cops. They were Yakuza guys. So he just basically screwed up and freed the guy that killed this dude in New York. So now Michael Douglas is in Japan. He's in Japan with Andy Garcia, and they're in big trouble with the locals because they let the super bad guy get away by handing him off to the wrong dude at the airport. And he's like, I don't know. I don't speak Japanese. He handed me some form. They look like cops. They had badges. Like, what do you want me to do? I thought that was the guys who I was supposed to give him to. So now they're like, well, we're not going to let this guy get away with it. So they go down to track down Sato and his bad guy dudes. But anyway, they get hammered one night. They're working with this Japanese cop. And this motorcycle, right? He always got the Kawasaki motorcycles or whatever, Honda motorcycles flying around Japan, all these biker gangs.
Yeah, they had like this legendary gang over there. I wish I remember the name of it,
But Andy Garcia is hammered, and he's like, all these motorcycle guys are kind of messing with him. So he pulls out his rain jacket, and he's like, I'm gonna do the El Toro bull wave, like drive your motorcycle through my little rain jacket. So he's like doing it with this guy, and then the last time the guy passed through, he just grabs his jacket and goes flying off. And Andy Garcia's like, pissed, and he's chasing him down. And Michael Douglas is like, no, dude, don't chase him down, man. It's a trap. He's like, I got to get that guy. My passport's in there. So he runs. He's running all through the streets trying to chase this guy down. Michael Douglas is like, got a bad feeling, like something bad's going to happen, dude. So he's chasing him. And then they chases him into a parking garage where Michael Douglas is now separated from drunk Andy Garcia and all these motorcycle dudes. And he can't get through this like chain link garage fence, and he can see it happen. All these motorcycle dudes are flying back and forth, slicing up Andy Garcia with like, katana knives. And then the last dude is Saito. He shows up and he looks
the
at
boss.
Yeah, the boss, big bad boss man. He looks at Michael Douglas. He's like, guess what's about to happen, dude? Pulls out the samurai sword, and then like they speed by on the motorcycle and he just chops off Andy Garcia's head. Kind of crazy. So if that doesn't give you, and Michael Douglas is awesome, by the way. So, but then Michael Douglas is out for vengeance at that point. So it goes from there. But awesome movie that totally, in my opinion, does hold up. So there's my Japanese movie rabbit holes. Now you share yours, buddy.
Well, I have a movie from the year 2000 called Battle Royale. You ever seen it?
I haven't seen it. You've been telling me it sounds awesome.
So basically, the movie is about, I can't remember if it's a law. I think it's maybe a law or something, or if it's new. But whatever the case is, these middle school students, I think they're middle school students, Battle Royale, they had to fight to the death. So they get all these middle school students and they lock them in this building or this room or something and have to fight to the death. And they have these collars on their throat, right? And they have like this little beeping thing. And I can't remember if it's timed and it goes off at random times. But I do know that if you try to escape, it kills you. And how
it'll blow your head off?
Yeah, so it's attached to your throat because there's a collar, obviously, and it explodes. So say you're like, I don't want to participate in this Battle Royale. I don't want to kill my friends, and you try to defect.
And they're middle school kids?
Yeah, and they had to fight to the death.
Legitimately, like, you could tell the actors, or they're trying to be like 12, 13-year-old kids.
Yeah.
So it's not high school. Usually they go high school.
It's middle school, yeah.
Middle school kids fighting.
But they have to fight to the death.
That sounds awesome. How does it end?
I can't remember.
Do they get away and get the bad person that's putting the collars on them?
But I can't remember because it's been a while since I've seen it.
Man.
But I think someone does survive, obviously, I would think. Because I think it's like the last person standing wins. Okay. Yeah. But that's interesting. The collar, it's like this titanium collar, so they can't fucking just take it off. So if they try to run away or something, but it's badass. Like a bunch of middle school people fighting to the death. Some people end up fighting because obviously, like, well, fuck, we're here. We got no choice. Let's just kill people and try to survive. But it's badass, dude.
That does sound badass. And on a semi-related subject in all my Japanese league, because the other thing I was rabbit holing on last week was the Big Six, which is the universities in Tokyo that play and they don't have DH, all the pitchers hit. The other thing in Japan that's real big is high school baseball, and there is a super famous field. I'm probably going to say it wrong, but it's called the Koshin, or Koshin like baseball complex. And the Koshin baseball field was built long, long ago, and it's where they always have the high school like national championship. And that field is so legendary. It like shows up in a lot of movies and shows up in anime, and it shows up in a fighting game and like a Sega or some fighting game. It's like, you know how there's like there's like different settings where you can fight. Like you're fighting in the mountaintop, and now you're fighting in an alley. It's like one of those like Mortal Kombat, but one of the settings in which you could fight in this video game was the Koshin baseball stadium, and there's like this like whatever pillar or something like across the field, and you were like standing on top of that fighting. So I thought that was super cool. But yeah, and somebody did a documentary, a good filmmaker on the high school kind of following these high school teams as they were trying to make it to the national championship. But good Japanese baseball. So that's cool. Battle Royale. You got any other Japanese movies?
No, I'm not. No, it's just the one I know of. Like whenever you mentioned that, when you sent me that text about what to talk about, that was a movie that came to mind because that's really one of the only Japanese movies I know of. I know there's like animes and stuff, but I'm not into anime at all. What's that message even saying over there?
I'm not worried about it, but I'm just looking at time. 1:23. We're doing good, so we can go into some UTSA. Took 2 out of 3 from Old Dominion, who's pretty good at baseball. And
I noticed they lost the first game and then they came back and kicked ass the next 2.
I was like a little bit interested in the ODU pitcher in that first game because I was like, who is this that can out-duel Mos Def Malone? So, but yeah, they did drop the first one, won the next two. But and I have my notes. Oh, here I can find
Blake Morgan is his name.
Blake Morgan. He's a freshman too, by the way. But he pitched a good game. So he got
6 innings he pitched.
You got to tip your cap.
He did strike out 10 batters too, so that's good. Oh, he actually took notes at the game.
Yeah, so this is my little program from.
You can still buy those too, by those little logs.
Yeah, they just hand them out at UTSA. And so I went and
box score. There we go, box scores.
Yeah, I printed out the box score too. But I got to talk to the coach after the game and talk to Mos Def Malone, and I was just kind of wanted to see the different pitchers, and it was an offensive explosion. Basically, everybody got a hit or a double. We're just clearing bases. The one dude, Garrett Poston, who's got a really good base on balls number. I watched that dude hit 2 doubles. One of them was kind of a slicer, but one of them he roped.
But in Luke's defense, Old Dominion was also a good team. So
yeah, I want to say
it's not all his fault.
And I want to say they posted the wrong thing, but the shortstop, like on Twitter, UTSA posted like great diving play in the hole, but the shortstop, I think Cody Darcy, who's from Washington State, made a great play in the hole. And it was one of those ones where you dive and you get it, and you get up, you don't have time to like crow hop and throw. You just got to get up and throw it. Yeah. So and you're not going to make like the perfect throw. So he's like, I'm going to throw like a one hopper and perfect throw to first, kind of like on the ground. But I mean, just get it out of your hand. Got the guy. So that was a great play. So you got a good shortstop. And then the pitchers, they started running out there. If I can look at it, so you had, and one of the guys, I think Reese Easterling, pitched in the 5th inning, and so they're playing Stephen F. Austin. But if you look at the program, I was like, dude, I think he went to Temple Community College, and then he went to Stephen F. Austin before he went to UTSA. So he was like maybe pitching against some of his old buddies and teammates. Probably, like, yeah. Oh, you thought you could hit me when I was there? Well, guess what? Now you got to find out. And he was dealing. And the other,
because they whipped their ass 14-4, dude. They went to town on Stephen F. Austin.
And this, and I'm trying to find if it was Drake Smith. And I made notes because one of the dudes who came in, it was I want to make sure this guy, because he was a freshman. I think Drake Smith came in. Drake Smith. It shows up here as a sophomore, and I can't remember. I put a little.
You can't take off your sunglasses.
I know for seeing my notes. I'm breaking.
What are you talking about here, buddy?
But type of pitcher, and I think it was Drake Smith. Good velocity, sophomore, 6'1", 185, and he basically had the type of windup that I hate to hit against. I mean, he comes set, and then it's just real fast body motion and throw, and really good velocity, man. It's just like, I really like Drake Smith's stuff. And he got, what did he get? 1 strikeout, 1 inning. And if you look at the stats here, it's like, oh, well, Drake Smith's ERA is like 8. I don't think that's true. I thought that guy had really good stuff. And
he probably just had one bad game that made his ERA go up.
He had really good velocity.
Because nobody has good games every single time they pitch.
So. But everybody got a hit. Tapia, RBI single. Also, Tapia had a very artistic slide in that game, and I think he might have been safe, but the ball beat him by so much at the plate there. I'm just like, I don't care that was a sweet swerve. I'm just calling you out, so you can't really argue about that. And they're in the middle of the comeback. But yeah, Poston, couple doubles. Cody Darcy, great play in the hole. Because they tweeted that somebody else, but I don't think it was. And you got Grant Miller, good velocity. Easterling basically shut out his
once
old
again.
squad.
You talking about the game on Saturday, right?
Oh no, this is Wednesday. It was Wednesday's
Oh,
game.
Wednesday. What am I thinking? I thought they played on the weekend.
I went out there on Wednesday night and caught like the last 4 innings of that game. But what I'm telling you is UTSA is going to the College World Series. And I'm telling you that because you got to have...
Ian Bailey is another stud for them.
Yeah, Ian Bailey's been hitting great.
Because when they won 8-7, he had 4 RBIs that game. So he drove in 4 dudes.
Yeah.
Drove in half their runs.
Leighton Berry had a good hit. He roped one. Bailey, Flores. I really like Flores.
He's another pretty good player, yeah.
I really like his load. He's got a kind of a big leg kick for a lefty. Poston's approach, he was 3 for 4 in that game.
So I feel like Ian Bailey and I keep calling him Post Malone, but Most Def Malone.
Yeah,
like those 2 guys are probably you could see them playing in the majors one day.
Well, you got Malone. Malone is a great pitcher, but if you're going to go deep into the postseason, in conference championships and super regionals, and get yourself to Omaha, you got to have more than just one arms. And the arms that I saw on Wednesday night was like, you got some dudes in the bullpen and you got some young dudes in the bullpen, and I don't think those dudes are that easy to hit. So very bullish, as they say in the market trading terms.
I mean, Old Dominion was
very bullish on the Roadrunners.
So, I mean, they're playing good teams.
Yeah, I mean,
winning against good teams.
Yeah, 2 or 3 on the road. So UTSA is looking good. Like I said, Coach Hallmark couldn't have been a nicer guy, and he's got a great squad up there. So a lot of good coaching, and there's Ryan Aguayo and Zach Butler and Alan Saylor's other coaches. But good ball club. Sorry I missed the first 3 innings, but my T-ball team is dominant, so I gotta do that. And I think that's the gist of my notes.
Your T-ball team's undefeated.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if anybody's keeping score, but if you're not keeping score, then I'm winning every game.
They haven't lost all year.
But
you guys are going to go straight to the championship undefeated and sweep in the playoffs.
I mean, we're putting together a good show before we get to the musical guest, but
the musical guest week this week, you're gonna like it's funny.
That's what I say. Kelly Gruber.
Yeah, one of the songs by the band that we picked this week.
Yeah, Kelly Gruber was with
trying to put my hands
forever
in this jersey, but there's no fucking pockets, obviously, on the jersey, so I just look like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. But
I want to say Kelly Gruber played in Japan, and
I know he played for Toronto.
I couldn't find it. I couldn't find his Japanese leagues, but I feel like I came across it when I was looking at one of my Gaijin, like Tuffy Rhodes or somebody was on a team with Kelly Gruber in Japan. I'm not making that up, and I can't find it. But this band, what's the name of the band?
Band's called the Hextalls.
The Hextalls?
From Vancouver, British Columbia.
What is the Hextall?
So they sing a lot about hockey, but they sing about other stuff too.
I think it's the Rexall Center.
So I don't know if you know about hockey, but there was a goalie. I think his name was Ron Hextall or something.
Yeah, Rexall Center was Edmonton. It was where Gretzky played.
Yeah.
Hextalls. Okay.
So they're from British. Yeah, no, not from British. Yeah, they're from Vancouver, British Columbia. They sing a lot about hockey, but like I said, they sing about other stuff too. So I think I have a good selection of songs. There's 4 songs that I chose. And, of course, I had to throw in the baseball one, Kelly Gruber. Dirty Kelly Gruber is the name of the song.
Dirty Kelly Gruber. So, Hextall, I knew that was familiar. So, he is the manager of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's the general manager.
The Penguins?
Pittsburgh Penguins. He's a professional hockey player. 6'3". Man. Yeah, that's a great name. Hextall. Sounds like he's going to beat your ass. Look at the picture of this guy. Oh, yeah.
I'll beat your ass.
Oh, Hextall.
Fucking telling me my team's offside, so I'll murder you. Your ass will be buried underneath this goddamn building.
I think Hextall was a heck of a player. Oh, Hextall was a goalie.
Yeah, Ron Hextall, I think.
Yeah, Ron Hextall.
Pittsburgh. I was like,
Flyers.
Philly Flyers, yeah.
The old Broad Street.
That's also the singer, one of the singers. So I have 2 singers in his band, Jeremy, which plays guitar, and then Devin, which plays guitar. They're both singing. Devin's a big Philly fan, so that's probably why he named the band the Hextalls.
My conflict with Philly, because Philly's pretty tough fans. They'll boo their own team, but
yeah, especially they booed Santa Claus.
They did boo Santa Claus. Maybe Santa Claus had a comment. I'm kind of a Cowboys fan, so I'm
sorry.
Yeah, I just was raised into Cowboys, and man, we really hate the Eagles. But I will say there's some awesome stuff about Philly, and here's a great one for hockey. So I want to say it was probably back in the 70s. The Broad Street Bullies, the Philadelphia Flyers, were like NHL champions, and what they do is the NHL champions or whatever would do exhibition games with the Russians. This is the height of the Cold War. So the Russians are supposed to be awesome at hockey, this and that. And I think this predates the 1980 or the 80 Olympics, Miracle on Ice stuff. And these Russians come over, and they're going to do this exhibition game against the Philadelphia Flyers. And the flavor of play that the Philadelphia Flyers had, hence the name Broad Street Bullies, is not only were they going to kick your ass by scoring more goals than you in hockey, they were also just going to point blank literally kick your ass.
Hockey dudes?
Yeah, they'd just body checking you. They'll beat you. It was just a very physical game. If you were going to play them, you were going to get the shit beat out of you. So when the Russians came to play, they weren't even psychologically ready. They're like, this isn't hockey. We're getting our asses kicked out. I can't touch the puck without getting blown out. So the Broad Street Bullies were just slamming them to the ice, slamming them into the boards, and they just didn't know what to make of it.
I don't know if they still do, but they used to have people that was their positions called the goons.
The goon, yeah.
Their goal was to go in the game and hurt somebody.
Yeah, you're the enforcer.
The enforcer. There we go. The enforcer.
Had to have one.
Take out the other guys. Usually they try to attack the stars, and the good players.
You always had to have a badass. And when you think about the Gretzkys of the world, because I got this jersey for my brother-in-law.
Mario Lemieux, can't forget about him too.
The guys, and I'll find it, but my favorite one was Tony Twist. Dave Semenko. So Dave Semenko was the Edmonton Oilers enforcer, and if you thought you're gonna go out there and check Gretzky, that was probably a bad idea, because Semenko was gonna come up and beat the living shit out of your face. Until
they had some dudes, man, that were like enforcers. They were fucking built. So you knew that they were coming for you, and it's gonna fucking hurt.
The guy who was the enforcer, I believe, at least for a few years, for Brett Hull at the St. Louis Blues, was the Twister.
He played for the Stars for a while, Brett Hull.
Oh, yeah, he did. And Tony Twist was this dude's name. And from what I heard on Tony Twist, a.k.a. the Twister, was when he was playing junior hockey, he would just sit on the floor of the hotel, which were probably shitty hotels, and he would just punch his hands into the ground. So maybe the only thing between your knuckles and the pavement is a little bit of carpet there.
Like this thin, half a fucking inch.
Supposedly he was doing it he would just crush his knuckles
like a quarter inch,
and it would
carpet.
calcify. So his hands were these huge calcified mallets, and with who knows, with the power of Mike Tyson. So basically you got a guy with a right hook from Mike Tyson with huge calcified mallets. Again, don't body check Brett Hull, because you shall pay the price. So there's a little bit of a hockey rabbit hole.
I'm gonna be eating a donut while I'm talking because I'm fucking hungry.
Yeah, you gotta do it, man. We've been dicking around this morning. Oh my god, it's 12:13. All right, let's get into the Hextalls. I'm gonna plug in the phone here, and we can see if they can get the audio up.
Remember to turn the volume up on the side, because last time you hit play, the volume was all the way down.
You can't hear shit.
Because I have this weird habit. This weird thing I do. It was not because I listen to my iPod when I'm driving here, and before I get out of the car, I unplug it so it's not going to be on, but I turn the volume all the way down because I don't know. I'm always paranoid that it's going to go off and it's going to be loud as fuck. Oh, you know what? Let me set it up.
Yeah, I don't know how to do Apple phones. Honestly.
That's right. You got an Android. I'm sorry. I apologize. You have
Android,
one of those phones.
Microsoft Windows. Once you go Apple, it's
all right. You know
completely over my head.
Okay, I'm gonna set it up and give it to you.
All right.
Because that way you can keep track of the time. Because I can't reach this soundboard.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because I have the best spot.
See, I like fading in our bump music.
Okay, here we go.
I feel like you shouldn't fade in the song because I just start it and then it doesn't go. So I'm not doing the fade. I just got the level up here pretty high.
So I picked 4 songs, one of each album again.
Do we want to go with Dirty Kelly Gruber first or last? No, probably last.
Let's just do it from the top and go down.
Because I did find an article on Kelly Gruber that's kind of interesting.
This donut is saving my life right now.
So just go in order is what you're saying? Yeah. Okay, so Can't Talk, Gotta Work. Yeah.
Dude, Jeremy's a badass guitar player.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's Devin. They have 2 singers, Devin and Jeremy. That was Devin. Devin sings a good amount of the songs.
I forgot the camera's on. People are going to see me dancing.
Sorry, dude.
Like, post this.
You're experiencing these bands for the first time.
And this is our wheelhouse because you know how I'm like trying to do like Beastie Boys and Minor Threat, and I don't really even know much shit about this stuff. I just kind of like what I like. When you pick the bands, they're these kind of like obscure, like the Isotopes. That's when I'm like, hell yeah, dude. We just can't go mainstream punk anymore. We have to dig up these guys like this that aren't getting the push.
In my scene, the Hextalls are well known, but they're not famous. So if I go up to some random dude on the street, you know the Hextalls, they're gonna be like, probably more than likely you're gonna be like, the fuck?
Yeah, man.
What is it?
The Hextalls, Destroy Orbison, that's the wheelhouse.
Yeah, dude, San Antonio's got some good. So they got some good bands, but Destroy Orbison is really awesome. I was talking to the drummer the other day about he's starting a new band. He sent me a little song, pretty good.
Yeah.
But
that's good stuff right there. I like it a ton. All right, let's go to the next one here.
I love that song because it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. I just want to work. I don't give a shit about what you got to say.
Okay, here we go. What's the name of this one? I guess Christine.
This one's like a love song. You were hot as hell on the first day. I was nervous because I don't like airports. Wrong way on the freeway. We ended up in downtown Chicago. I could never leave. I would rather be stuck inside a bus without a reason. You got me once, just like the black guy with the bad heart who fucked me over. The bad guy who fucked me over. One day, you had a hard fall in the driveway. We ended up right back in the snowbank. Guess I'm gonna learn the hard way how to fit in those pink pajamas. When I opened the door and farted, you just laughed and laughed. Don't ever leave me broken hearted if you ever decide to leave.
It's good guitar.
Best part. So Jeremy, the guy that I've been talking about too.
I think I locked your phone again. It's awesome.
No, you didn't. You just hit the power. I don't have it on the phone. You just hit the power button right here.
All right.
But yeah, so Jeremy's the lead guitar player, and dude, he always has like the coolest fucking like leads.
It just sounds
because they're not really solos. They're just like guitar leads, but they're fucking sick, dude.
Oh man, that's great stuff. So the next one is Dirty Kelly Gruber, which is so great of a song title.
Before the song is awesome because the Hextalls write badass songs, but the lines in this song, I don't know if we'll get to it. The song, but one of the lines in the song is
we'll just play it till we get to it.
It's teaching young girls how to butt is just a front.
Teaching young girls how to front is just a butt.
It's just a front.
Perfect lead in.
And I don't know if Kelly Gruber is known for anything, if he's done anything bad, like as far as like sexual harassment or anything.
Maybe he has, because I got an article here for you.
But that line was just like, I didn't realize he was like that kind of person. What's the article about?
You know what?
But I pulled up images and I can see a mug shot. So I'm like, maybe he was a sexual harassment guy.
No, well, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's an Austin, Texas dude. He went to Westlake. But this is the one. I did see one story. It says Kelly Gruber pulled from the Canadian Hall of Fame panel for erratic behavior. And this is what the article reads as.
There we go.
The Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame pulled Kelly Gruber from its induction weekend festivities after the former Toronto Blue Jays third baseman made an awkward appearance during a pitch talks panel discussion a day earlier. Gruber was briefly on stage at the homestand sports event Thursday night with host Ashley Docking and Rogers Sportsnet broadcaster Kevin Baker in Toronto. In a joint statement Friday, the Hall of Fame and Pitch Talk said the proceedings were stopped 45 minutes early because of Gruber's unacceptable and inappropriate behavior.
So
basically, what happened by the time he got on stage, he appeared to be inebriated, Homestand Sports founder Kevin Kennedy said. He was just acting sort of obnoxious, kind of erratic. He was confrontational with our host, Ashley, and quite quickly, I knew that this wasn't going in the right direction. Gruber was one of several former Blue Jays chosen to participate in various halls of events in the lead up to Saturday's ceremony in Ontario, where former Major League stars Pedro Martinez and Lloyd Moseby will be inducted, along with baseball historian William Humber.
That's funny. They were at this.
Wait, I gotta give Gruber his side of it. Gruber's representative Don Graham emailed a statement from the former player to the Canadian press on Friday evening. There are two sides to every story, and I would love to tell mine, Gruber said. Maybe what I said was taken the wrong way. My intention for being there was to honor my teammate and buddy Lloyd, and the interview part went south for a variety of reasons, which I will detail at a later date. The 56-year...
A variety of reasons?
Yeah, I can't remember this. The 56-year-old Gruber made his Major League debut with the Blue Jays in 1984. He won a World Series with Toronto in 92 and ended his career with the Angels the next year. And I think he played in Japan. I just can't find it right now, but I saw it when I was rabbit holing. But you know what, Kelly Gruber, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. If you drank some beers and did an interview, the shit just happens. You know? I don't know exactly what happened, so I don't know the guy, but apparently there's this hilarious song that we're about to... listen to. That's all we know.
If we don't... Okay. Yeah.
Should I just go?
Yeah, I think you'll crack up.
See, when I go this way? See, when I do this, it goes to camera.
Oh, no, dude. Okay.
I'm telling you, because there's like one little...
You literally just, like, when it goes on lock, you
just push that button over there?
I know this is funny for the podcast, so when it locks,
people are like...
You just hit the home button.
But then I got that screen.
And you hit it again.
Oh, hit it again. Okay.
And it goes to the
But
song.
see, when you go to that one other screen, there's like two little dots. So I'm like, well, it's not this dot. I swipe and I go to the other.
Yeah, you just hit the home button twice. Hit it and hit again.
All right. Sorry.
You
sorry,
Android
everybody.
people with your simplistic phones.
I'll tell you what.
Or your complicated phones, rather.
All right. Dirty Kelly Gruber. Great song title. Whoa! Whoa. Sorry. I'm stopping that for a couple reasons.
Why is
We'll
that?
come back to it. So, okay. Is it still playing?
No.
Okay, I just want to say we're apparently not the only people that had struggle with sound, because I didn't change any of the levels on this thing, and the first two songs were like, you could see them over here. They were like kind of like normal or maybe low, where we thought we were going to have to turn it up.
I also turned the volume up on the iPod.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably what happened.
Because I was like, oh my God, that just blew us out.
That's the beauty about this thing, is it's unprofessional. We're professional, but not professional.
Once we get it to where it's going to be, we can't, because if they're too different, it's hard to edit that out. Okay, so I'm going to go back to it. I'm turning down that level there.
Let me grab the iPod real quick and start the song over.
Sorry about that. Yeah, start that over, and then I wasn't ready for that.
Okay, now you just hit play.
All right, I'm hitting play.
Now you have a complicated Android phone, so I don't know. There we go.
So good.
The next verse is listed as great. So they said he in '92 he won the World Series. Now he's done. Give it up for the man. Free breast exams.
You still give free breast exams. Well, I might just based on the basis of the song, I might want to dig a little bit more into
like what he's done,
like Kelly Gruber stuff.
Because you're not. I mean, clearly, either A, you're going to write a funny song like that, and just throw in some random facts, but those are kind of too much to just randomly say about somebody.
Yeah, that's a lot of info.
But what is it? Half when he opens up the Trans Am, Moosehead's on the floor. The smell of half-eaten hot dogs.
Okay.
Okay, let me do it. These phones are too simple for you to understand.
How do we get back to like? It would be easy if I knew what buttons were forward and back.
You just hit.
Simply it.
The last song is "Ouch My Childhood."
Okay.
Ouch my childhood. I can't speak.
Ouch my childhood. Here we go.
I used to pray for another Star Wars or Indiana Jones. Now I pray I meet George Lucas so I can break his goddamn nose. I'd love to choke out Steven Spielberg and then catch like Michael Bay. Cause Bumblebee wasn't a fucking Camaro and the Ninja Turtles are from space. Another Karate Kid and then have him learn Kung Fu. Why make the 30 years to make a Christmas Story 2? At least JJ and Disney can't make Star Wars any worse. Unless they transport Jar Jar Binks into the Star Trek universe. Why can't our lost movie ever be a
Great chorus.
Why do we always have to wreck the things we love to jump the shark?
Just let the song play. It's so good. Here goes. You gotta let this part play. Don't stop it.
Okay.
It's great. I just had to get to that part where it was like, fuck you, Michael Bay, you're the devil. Fuck you, George Lucas.
That song is awesome. I think it speaks for all of us.
Because, like, why can't a lonesome movie ever be enough?
Yeah.
Like, that line alone is the best. Well, it's true because, like, the fucking Sandlot was great. And then they go make a Sandlot 2. Oh and they go to make a Sandlot 3. And I'm just like, fucking, what's the deal here, dude? Because people's like, I want to know more to the story. Why?
All I know is you're the best at picking music, and great job.
I was in a closet with 3 bands last night.
Yeah. What were the others two?
Rational Anthem.
Rational Anthem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Originally from Sarasota, Florida, but then they relocated to not Indiana, Iowa City, I believe.
The entire band relocated?
Yeah.
That's strange.
But now they have a new bass player. I don't know his name. I don't
Usually
have to
one band member's like, I'm moving somewhere.
And the last band was the 80s band Zero Boys.
Zero Boys, yeah.
Which I think they're still the band, I think. But yeah, those were the 3 bands. I was like, but we did like 80s music last week, so this week we're going to do a little fresher up or a little newer.
I'm going to text you the link to that punk baseball movie, and we can maybe each separately watch that. But when you're in charge of the music, it's just a better show, honestly.
Appreciate that, sir. There's a lot of great bands out there that you need to know.
Undercover Officer Dutch Chattahoochee. Also, just want to
with my Buffalo Jersey Bisons.
Vladdy Jr. And that's what I saw. I saw an interview with dudes like interviewing Vladimir Guerrero, and one of them was wearing like a Walmart polo. And these guys also actually a couple.
Were the players?
Well, no, it was like two dudes, and I think I actually like both of those dudes. I think they have like a really cool podcast, and they're both good Twitter follows. And it escapes me right now, but I took such offense of the lowbrow unclassiness of the attire. Like one guy maybe had like a button up kind of like Hawaiian thing. I was like, okay, it's spring training, you're looking like you're on vacation there, but the other dude's polo was lacking, and you're sitting here talking to Vlad Guerrero Jr. I was like, you know what, get a fucking polyester blazer from the Salvation Army and come pimped out.
Look professional.
Some 70s style sports broadcast journalism. So I don't
see if once I get my blazer,
but maybe that's our separator.
I gotta have a mustache. I don't know.
That's our separator. I mean, I'm
And speaking of juniors,
yeah.
in the when our Wiffle Ball in the Woods video come out, I'm wearing a King Griffey Jr.
Got the junior stuff.
Seattle
going.
Mariners jersey on.
I got to work on that in the middle of the night. It's the only time I have to edit stuff. What else I was going to say on intro outro? Oh, so how we got to the intro, because I was like, I started looking for Japanese music on DeWolf.
It would fit with the theme today.
Because I was like, I'm going to go down the NPB rabbit hole. And then I put
Dude,
in
I'm
like...
jacked up on this full throttle.
I did like
True
some
Blue.
Kung Fu. I think I just typed in Kung Fu, and then it brought me to like the 70s stuff. We started to listen to that. We got some like cop themes.
Those were the best
And that's
ones.
how we got the intro, outro music. I don't know what else we can cover. I just want to say hello to all my friends and family in Auf Wiedersehen to our German listener.
I want to say what's up to Bob in Nebraska.
Bob in Nebraska. Oh, what's this guy's name? What's the mannequin's head's name?
I don't know.
We can call him Al Snow.
We could do this one of two ways. We can give him a name.
Yeah.
That's like whatever, or we can go with the C and say he's wearing a Cubs hat, not because he's a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
But his name starts with a C.
C. Carl. I like Carl. I think it's Carl.
You know what? We'll call him Carl. His name will be Carl.
Carl, you got any notes?
From Topeka, Kansas.
Because honestly, anything you come up with is going to be better than I am. And if Carl came up with a rule for Major League Baseball, it'd be better than what Major League Baseball, or formerly Major League Baseball, is coming up with.
He has that flat look on his face right now because the mentioning of Ghost Runners is like...
Oh, my gosh. Actually happened. It's like not a joke. Like if you talk to people like 10 years ago, it was like they actually did that. And it's like, yeah, no, they actually in real life did that.
They also did another stupid thing, which I'm glad they got rid of, was whatever All-Star team wins gets home field advantage.
Yeah, that was not a good idea. Nobody liked that.
That was the worst. I can kind of deal with Ghost Runners, sort of. I don't like it, but in comparison to the home field advantage,
can't do it.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. Like I said, I have a friend with a relationship. We're like good friends. We're like best friends, right? But this motherfucker's abusive.
Yeah, that's
like base MLB right now. Like I can't stop watching. I still hang out, but man, I'm tired. I keep getting abused, man. Like,
yeah, man.
Not mentally abused, but not okay. Let me rephrase that. Not physically abused, but just abusive mentally.
It's
now,
psychological.
nothing crazy. Like I'm not gonna. When he's just like, well, you was eating that chicken. It's bad for you. Something like that.
Yeah.
Just small things that are just like, hey, man, take it easy, relax. I got it.
A bridge too far for me on that. I would say, shout out to the greatness that's happening out there at UTSA and those guys and all the other local college clubs.
Not only are they putting together a good overall record, but they have the players
TLU,
are badass.
Trinity, Olu,
Texas State.
Texas State's real good. So I'm interested. I'm actually really think we're going to get into the college postseason. I think we're going to be pretty psyched about how those regionals are shaking out.
And
honestly,
then
with
also
the local teams. Yep.
In June, I think Independent League baseball starts, right? In June?
I don't know when the independents get going. They kind of vary. I mean, it's a business. They're trying to keep it alive. Oh, the Pecos?
Yeah,
Pecos gets going a little bit later.
I think it's in June.
Some of the other independents start sooner.
We're going to go to some Weimar games.
The Hormigas definitely support Sweet Feet, Lawrence, Lambeau Johnson, and the rest of those guys, the great Jack Ivey. But yeah, to your aunt and all my friends.
My wife, she listens as well.
Yeah, Miss Raymond. And who else might be listening out there?
Terry out there in Nacogdoches.
Guten Tag, mein Freunds. And, yep, that's a wrap on 10. Just Nippon League rabbit holes.
Carl's been listening since day one, but this is the first time
Carl's
he's here in person.
And I don't know if we're going to be able to sync up this audio with this video. I don't see why it can't happen. We can have our first video.
We have the clapper, so we just had to look for that spike.
Just got to do that.
Look for the spike and look for the image.
Use the clapper. Maybe I'll do a clapper on the way out and we'll line it up that way. You think it'll help?
I think we should be good because once we sync up the beginning of it, it'll follow.
But I like playing with my clapper.
Okay.
Do you think that'll help me post edit? I think
Mr. Nakatomi's like, what was that fucking noise?
Oh yeah,
We're being a little loud right now.
Mr. Nakatomi, appreciate you.
97.9 The Cat for allowing us to broadcast.
Graffiti Artist Meds, you're awesome. And then to all the people, Japan Ball. There's a guy I'm following who's doing a blog for the Chiba Latte Marines, Steve. He's also a photographer. He's the one who I found all this stuff on Roki. So shout out to Roki and Ko Matsukawa. And we'll do some outro music. Let me kick it over there right now. And I'll just fade it up while we're going out to the precinct. There it is. We
got our task. We got our mission. Now we're on our way to get our car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're just slowly driving around.
At the precinct?
Yeah.
We're going out to, it's like a unmarked Mercury. Like 1977 Mercury something.
Fucking Bullet. We got a Mustang and shit.
But I'm not putting the magnetic siren on the top yet.
Is this one of those Mercuries where when you turn the wheel, you gotta all wide and shit?
Yeah, you gotta do it like that.
Okay. A Turnstile. Looks like we got another case in our hands.
Old Officer Dutch Chattahooch and Turnstile signing out. We're patrolling.
Got a pack of smokes. You sit in the car with our coffee.
Patrolling the streets. I'm looking. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm looking for the drug dealer who's dealing to the MLB Rules Committee.
Right.
Because they got a good dealer.
We see Manfred. We're like, follow him.
Follow him because he's getting keys of something. Psychedelics.
He says he's going to Subway for a sandwich, but there's more to it than that.
Ice. PCP.
Yes.
That's what the MLB Rules Committee's doing. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
9790 Cat. Be back next Tuesday.